something I've been talking a lot about in relation to trust is accountability. And I think that's something that we kind of think about, what does it look like to feel that sense of trust, but we don't talk a lot about how do we back that up. I also think listening is so important. And I think that's something that we really don't have in our culture all the time. Is everyone's thinking about talking and what they're going to say next, and we listen to respond, but really taking the time to hear about other people's perspectives. One of the hardest things, and I think it's important to acknowledge, right? One of the hardest things that we experienced on the primary was this idea that Pete couldn't get Black voters and voters, but it was obviously something that was difficult. That he got hit on, what I would say unfairly throughout the campaign, but um, it affected staff of color in particular pretty hard throughout the campaign because so there came a point where we were getting close to the Iowa caucus and we had a team retreat. So we all came together and we were kind of like, let's all come together because what we did with that retreat, and we actually had some moments after the retreat as well, is we had those really tough conversations of like where do we stand on this issue as a country and how can we as a campaign do better internally so that we are doing better externally to not just respond to these but also ensure that we're making sure everyone, no matter what community they come from in the country, are feeling like they're heard and they're a part of this campaign. And I think the closer you are to the ground, the better understanding you have of what's actually happening. And, the leaders up at the top, like their job is really to see from everyone's perspective and kind of take in all that information and be able to make those decisions at a high level. But it's also about having those conversations on those lower levels and really kind of flipping that pyramid and understanding like the people on the ground, the people in those grassroots spaces have the best understanding of what their needs are and what's actually happening, and therefore what needs fixing, and probably what are the best ways to fix it. And so we really want to be thoughtful about what values we want to represent as a company, and what we're bringing to the table, and being very clear and open and honest with any organization or campaign that comes to us and says that they want to work with us, that these are the values that we're bringing to the table when you hire us as well. These are the expectations that we're going to have for you as our client, just as much as we're going to have them for ourselves. Um, I think for me, where I know I can make the most change is where I am right here, right now, right? And how I interact with the people in my life day to day. I have a lot of power there. And I think it's important for us to understand where we hold power in the world, because I think a lot of times, particularly as women of color, we can feel very disempowered when we look at the world and we see what's reflecting back at us.